I've been talking about the affordability crisis here in the United States since 2019. Back then, people said there was no affordability crisis. Fast forward to 2024, now it's all over the headlines. Just to show you how incredibly unaffordable homes are today, the median income in 1974 was $11,100. In order to buy a house, the median income home was $37,200. Fast forward to 2024, the median salary here in the United States is about $59,428,000. The median income home is $417,700. In order to afford a home in 1974, all you would have had to make in a year was an annual income of only $7,647.48. With today's interest rates at 6.75, you would need to make an annual income of $104,556.48 in order to be able to afford today's median home. We do have an affordability crisis. It doesn't seem to be getting any better. It's time for me to expose some of the things that I've learned over the last 4 years that I've kind of kept bottled up. Some of the biggest names when it comes to building homes have said some pretty gross things while they're trying to keep elevated home prices. All right, let's talk about traditional home building. First, we have home builders that have been purposely holding back inventories to go ahead and artificially keep home prices up. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to be showing you something in a second to prove to you that's exactly what they're doing. The other thing is that a lot of home builders, in order to get their inventory off their books, they went ahead and sold to institutional investors, especially all through the Sunbelt area. We now have it doesn't matter what statistic you look at, between 3 million to 7 million homes short in the United States of affordable housing options. In the meantime, in order to offset as many homes as not been built, Wall Street has stepped in and they are now making build to rent because they say that they're filling the gap and they're doing a favor to all of these younger Americans that can't find an affordable place to live.
This could be a long-term solution for the affordable housing crisis.
We're going to help you, Wall Street is, and we're going to build you these build-to-rent homes.
Greed is right. Greed works.
They will never own those homes. They're only meant to be rented. So let's talk about the first thing. You think that I'm not telling the truth, that they purposely withheld homes for sale? Well, let me just show you this real quick. And I'm sure that you've heard about the supply chain problems that we had during the pandemic, whether it was steel, lumber, nails, anything. They kept blaming the price of homes going up so exponentially was because of the fact of these supply chain issues. Well, that ended up being a bunch of smoke and mirrors in a lot of cases. Of course, steel was one of those things, and they reported 809% profit on steel during that time. Another one that you really should pay attention to is the Pullet Group, which makes commodity homes. They increased their profits 97% during that time. And Lennar Homes during that time, who builds a lot of affordable housing options, they increased their profits by 78%. And this is the part that kills me. So let me read you this quote. During a sales call to their corporate investors, this is what the guy from Lennar said, the CEO said. He said, "We could sell another 1,000 homes in the quarter if we wanted to without much effort. It just makes no sense to do that." John Jeff, the CEO, told the investors in an earnings call, Lennar's profits are up 78%, while Pullet Group's is up 97%. These are the companies that build some of the smallest, most affordable homes nationwide. And they purposely withheld homes so they could artificially keep the prices up and they could make more money for their profit earnings. Homes have now turned into a commodity that shareholders are dictating the prices. But they're not the only sector of housing that has pulled the wool over our eyes when it comes to lying to us. Tiny homes has been another one. So let's get into that. Okay, so a tiny home is a very good affordable housing option for many people. Most of the tiny homes that you see made by small builders are not even certified for anything, not whether they're RV certified, whether they're modular certified, manufactured certified, they're not certified to be a living house. Another thing that I learned about tiny homes and tiny home builders is not every single one of them is reputable. And I'm sure that goes without saying, but many of them have looked to be very reputable. If you don't remember, there was a guy out in Colorado who was running a company called Holy Ground Tiny Homes. A lot of people put down a lot of money when it came to buying one of his tiny homes because he said that he was really trying to help the community and, get people back on their feet. Well, it ended up that he uses a lot of that money for other things, like big fancy trips to Las Vegas. And he's got himself in really big trouble. Whether you believe he's a fraudster or not, the thing is, the proof is in the pudding. He took people's money, people that were desperate, and then he spent it the way he wanted to, with these people no longer having a house. Some people ended up actually even homeless. It's absolutely disgusting. Hold your horses. I just looked on YouTube and he's still there. He's still advertising that he's building homes. He hasn't delivered on the homes that he already promised people that people put deposits down on. And now he's building homes again and advertising them on YouTube.
Matthew Sowash faces multiple lawsuits from customers, including from a lender who gave him $250,000 and from the lumber company who supplied his wood. Sowash's attorneys tell me that because they filed Chapter 11, he can continue to operate his business rather than shut down and liquidate.
Please investigate anybody you plan on giving a deposit for your tiny home. Investigate them thoroughly. Look up their name and their businesses, and to see if there's any articles like these ones right here, to see if this is someone you want to do business with. I featured one specific company, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the article right here. I'm not even going to say their name because I'm not going to give them any SEO search history. I'm just going to show this article, and I'm going to put it in the link in the description. I know that many of you had hopes to getting one of these houses in the future. And I know a lot of you have been on this wait list for now over 4 years, waiting for their specific homes to be coming out. To this day, those homes have never been in anybody's backyard that I know of. If anybody knows of anybody that has one of those homes that they could show us and tour for us, I would gladly take a tour of it. Their videos still sit on my channel. I stand by those videos today, but I want you to be very aware of the company and the trouble they have been in recently. So just go ahead and take a look at that article, and you can make a decision for yourself if you want to invest in them. Another thing I want to point out to you is another company that I put in my backyard, this house right here. I love this little house. I was very, very excited about this specific tiny home company that was coming out. They also had some really good options for an affordable housing option for many people. The thing is they went bankrupt. And that's what I'm finding out with a lot of tiny home companies. They have this big dream and a big plan that they want to get exposure for. And once they get that exposure, they don't know what to do with it. And sometimes they just bite off more than they can chew, and they don't have a very good business plan, and then they fold in. Another thing, though, when it comes to a lot of these companies, is that they're just doing a fundraising campaign. That's all they're trying to do, is they've come up with a product. They know that people invest in it because they're desperate. And then they continue to get more and more investors on the train. It's happened more than once. Xterra was one of those companies. Was it Xterra or Terra? Doesn't matter. My point is this. You can have some of the biggest names backing a company up. That doesn't make it a good company. And that's just one story. I had another couple that reached out to me that they found a guy on Instagram who had lots of pictures of beautiful tiny homes. They went ahead and put down a $10,000 deposit. And the guy kept saying that the wire didn't go through. Their bank said that it did, and they were just really confused about how this whole situation came about. They reached out to me to ask if I knew anything about this specific tiny home builder. All I had to do is just do a quick Google search for a few images, and I realized that all the images on his specific Instagram page was from other tiny home builders around the country. His page no longer exists. From what I heard, he's being investigated. I can't give you any more information than that because I don't know. It wasn't a personal story of mine. I just know that these people were scammed out of $10,000. They almost sent him more money because of the fact that he kept saying that their second wire never came through. These are the kinds of things that I want you to be aware of when you're looking at any tiny home or tiny home company. It is something that has really just broken my heart because I know a lot of people are just in this situation where they're just trying to find their most affordable place for them to live currently because rent is too high and they can't afford that. And this is the last little nest egg of money that they have. Okay, that's just with tiny homes. So let's talk about prefab. This is one of those words that gets all jumbled up because is it prefab modular? Is it prefab manufactured? Nobody really knows. A lot of these companies that have these affordable prefab modular homes don't even exist. The pictures are computer renderings. Their websites are brand new. You never actually talk to a person on the telephone. You have to communicate everything through email. Wires get lost. Just know that if you're going to look at anything prefab and they say they're prefab modular, make sure they're certified modular homes and they meet or at least exceed building code in your specific area. If they do not come up with those specific accreditations for that house, it's not a true prefab modular house. Just be aware of that. So when it comes to modular home companies, when I first started talking about them in 2019, they were just slightly less money than building a traditional built home. I still stand by the fact that modular homes are built better than traditional built homes because they always meet or exceed building code in your specific area. But since then, now they're actually a little bit more expensive than they were for a traditional built home. A lot of people don't understand that. And the other thing is that a lot of companies out there that build manufactured homes and modular homes are trying to sell something called a hybrid manufactured modular home. And that is where you have a manufactured home and they put components of a modular home and they say it's a hybrid. This, to me, was one of those things that was like, you're fooling the public. This is not a true modular home. And people, when they go to sell these houses, say, oh, I have a modular house, only to find out that according to tax records, it's actually a manufactured home. It's not even a modular home. And they were deceived at the sales office. So this has been upticked because people are more interested in modular homes. And it happens at the biggest, largest names when it comes to manufactured housing. So just know that. I won't say their name because I'm not going to get sued, but you know who the biggest names are when it comes to manufactured housing. You fill in the blanks. So if you own a house already, you're probably saying to yourself, no, this doesn't affect me. All this stuff doesn't affect me at all. But I want you to think about this other affordability crisis that's going on. If you look at your property taxes, they're not going down anytime soon. And when we've had this big explosion in costs of homes, of course, your property taxes go up. Those of you that are on fixed incomes are going to have to adjust to that. It can be overwhelming, especially if you're on a extremely tight fixed income. If you topple on top of that, have you seen your property insurance rates go up? On my home here, it's gone up over $500 this year. For some people, $500 is more than they can afford. So they're going to be forced to sell. A lot of people look at this as the wave of silver tsunami because these people that live on fixed incomes aren't going to be able to afford those prices. But who's going to be able to afford those prices? The middle class currently couldn't afford the smaller home price, right? We are at a point of a divide. We are either the haves or the have-nots. And the way that the haves are trying to address the have-nots is, well, you can rent from us. And this isn't the way it should be. We should not have this dwindling middle class of people. We should have people be able to buy an affordable home of their own. For some reason, that ended up being a very controversial statement that I made on my channel, that everybody deserves an affordable place to live. I still stand by that statement. The affordability crisis here in the United States is not going to get solved overnight. But it's up to me to expose to you all the lies that have been told to us about the affordability crisis. And I plan on doing that in the future. But I also want to find some really positive things that are happening in the housing market when it comes to affordability. But if you happen to come across any stories in your local area about people doing really great things for affordability, please let me know. Just go ahead and email me at info@KristinaSmallhorn.com. I'd really love to show and give those people the light that they deserve for doing something to actually help with either the veterans, the homelessness, or just affordability in general. I want to show people that it can be done, because it can be if they want to. But for most of these corporations, you know as well as I do, it's greed. They don't care about affordability. They don't care if we have a home to live in. And I don't want that for you. I want to show you the best way, most affordable way you can buy at home. To watch more videos about the affordability crisis here in the United States, you're going to want to watch these videos right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer, and I tell you all this because good real estate information matters.